Chaplain John Gerhardt
has left the meeting.
Any citizen desiring to address the hospital board should turn their card to the board secretary. If the citizen comment pertains to an item on the agenda today, the comment will be heard early in this meeting. Otherwise, it will be heard toward the end. Speakers are asked to limit their comments to 5 minutes. Vendors and suppliers of other persons seeking hospital contracts awarded on a competitive basis are reminded that their ability to address the board may be restricted by the terms of the invitation for bid, the request for proposal, or other purchasing criteria. Lastly, the board has established a claims adjustment review panel comprised of representatives of the board, the medical staff, the administration, legal counsel to review and negotiate the settlement of claims. Accordingly, the board will not entertain comments on or discuss or negotiate claims at this meeting. I want to note that some of our members are appearing via teleconference today, and you can see that we are seated to accommodate the state and federal recommendations regarding social distancing related to the current public health emergency. We are also continuing to streamline our meeting process to avoid non-essential items from our consideration. I seek approval of the orders of the day.
So moved. Second?
Any comments? All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Carried. I ask for a motion to approve the minutes. Second. All in favor, please respond by saying yes.
Yes.
Carried. I have the bittersweet honor of recognizing the retirement of one of the board's former members, Dr. Tom Kelly, who in addition to serving on this board, was one of the founding members of Sarasota Memorial Hospital's cardiothoracic surgery programs. He was honored last week at the hospital, and I'd like to show some of the remarks made to recognize him there.
So today, we are here to express our gratitude and say farewell to Dr. Tom Kelly, who will retire at the end of this month after decades of distinguished leadership and outstanding patient care. I suspect this won't be the last time we see Dr. Kelly, but it is in this role today. Dr. Kelly not only has been a pioneering cardiac surgeon who has helped transform our program into a nationally recognized center of excellence, but he was also our elected hospital board and provided invaluable governance.
Has joined the meeting.
System. I'd like to mention several highlights of his remarkable career. Dr. Kelly trained at Baylor College of Medicine under Michael DeBecke, who is the world renowned for his innovations in cardiovascular surgery. He was then recruited to Sarasota Memorial after a national search. Dr. Kelly co-founded our Open Heart Surgery Center with Dr. Don Snyder. They performed the first open heart surgery case here in 1983, and the program later was named one of the top 50 heart surgery hospitals in the country. His experience and expertise truly have been pillars of the program. In addition to his busy surgical practice, Dr. Kelly served on our board from 1998 to 2013, helping to lead the organization through a period of transition and growth. During his tenure, we completed our courtyard pilot, expanded services, overcame financial challenges, and were repeatedly recognized for outstanding quality. Somehow, Dr. Kelly also found time to shepherd the next generation of physicians, passing his wisdom on to students at Florida State University's College of Medicine. He has been an essential part of the First Physicians Group, continuing to provide the highest level of cardiovascular care and thoracic care. In 2015, Dr. Kelly was awarded our Lifetime Achievement Award, but we can't thank him enough for all that he has done. He's been a tireless champion for our medical staff and his patients. Most importantly, he has saved many thousands of lives. On behalf of the entire healthcare system, we are grateful for your service and wish you all the best in retirement. And now, before I turn this over to Dr. Rodman, and for some of his comments, I want to make a couple of comments of my own. Dr. Kelly has been a dear friend of mine. He's been someone who has welcomed me since I've been here for the last 15 years, and he and his family have truly been friends that I value more than you can imagine. So Tom, thank you for everything that you, Jackie, and your entire family have done for us. Okay. Before I turn it over to Dr. Rodman, I do want to actually recognize Michelle Lehman. Are you here, Michelle? Right there. So Michelle came about, I think, 3 or 4 months after Dr. Kelly came. Is that about right? Okay. And what you didn't hear is he's saying she propped him up. So I have no doubt about that whatsoever. But Michelle, I understand you're retiring too, because you can't stand the work without Dr. Kelly. Is that right? Okay. So anyway, congratulations to you too on your retirement.
Dr. Kelly, on behalf of First Physicians Group and Sarasota Memorial Healthcare System, we want to congratulate you and thank you for the 37 years of exemplary service to our institution and for your many contributions to the Sarasota community. The countless lives that you have saved and the impact you have had on this organization and community have been enormous. We thank you for these contributions and wish you all the joy and happiness of your new chapter. And knowing your tireless efforts and your strong work ethic, you will have an amazing, productive, dynamic, and long-lasting retirement. Tom, I would like to present you with a small token of our thanks and heartfelt gratitude. We really appreciate everything you've done for us here for many years. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, we did that last week, and I will tell you, Tom got up and spoke to the group for a while, and it went on for a while. So we had to abbreviate it in here today, but I would encourage you. I know Karen sent this over to all the board members. Is that right, Karen?
No.
Oh, you did. You're going to then. Okay, she will send that over to you, and I would encourage you to watch Dr. Kelly's remarks. Gets choked up a bit, and it's something that you will think is worth your time. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, David. I know I speak for the board. Sorry.
Would it be appropriate for we as board members to pass a resolution saying Kelly or add that to?
You certainly can.
Sure.
Yeah.
Would you like to make a
I will
motion?
make a motion that we have a resolution drafted to, on behalf of the board and the hospital, to thank Dr. Kelly for leadership, the work he's done on behalf of our community, and the other appropriate improvements to that resolution.
All in favor? I assume we're all. No.
Yes.
So we and see them always smiling, always take time out to talk. And, okay, thank you, Joe. Report of the medical staff.
Yes, thank you. Our main report this month is after many meetings, and particularly head up by Cindy Von Walder and our medical staff committee. We are presenting for you our amended rules and regulations. They have not been amended in some time. And again, it was a lot of work by everyone, and they've been approved by our staff. We'd like approval from the board.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Schulman. I do have a motion. I move approval of the amended rules and regulations, Sarasota Memorial staff, as recommended by the medical executive.
All of those in favor? Please respond by saying yes.
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 Thank you, Doctor. Moving on, Britt, Secretary's report, please.
Yes, our next. I'm sorry. Our next meeting is Monday, October 19th, 2020. From 9 to 10:30, the Mission and Planning Committee meets. From 10:30 to noon, the Quality Committee meets. From noon to 12:30 is the closed session of the Hospital Board. From 12:30 to 2 is the Financial Review and Board Lunch discussion of issues. From 2 to 4 is the board meeting. And immediately following the board meeting, approximately 3:30 to 4:30 is the corporate compliance. Thank you.
Thank you, Britt. Treasury's report, Joseph D. Virgilio, our treasurer.
All right, I have a motion. I move approval of the bad debt charity care for the month ending August 31st, 2020, in the amount of $17,997,000.
Have a second, please.
Second.
All those in favor, respond by saying yes.
Yes. Yes.
Bill, you're up next.
Thank you. I'll get our presentation up on the screen here. There we go. I have the financial highlights for August. And with August being the 11th month of our fiscal year, the fiscal year to date numbers represent 11 months of activity. Starting with total revenue for the system, we had $800,400,000 of revenue in August, compared to a budget of $83,615,000. Fiscal year to date, $946,391,000, compared to a budget of $959,410,000. Looking at expenses for the system, for August, $79,561,000, compared to a budget of $81,146,000. Fiscal year to date, $869,215,000, compared to a budget of $894,720,000. Operating income for the system in the rating agency format for August, $8,839,000, which produced a operating margin of 10%, compared to a budget of $2,469,000, which produced the budgeted operating margin was 3%. Fiscal year to date, operating income of $77,176,000
has left the
which is
meeting.
so far this year an operating margin of 8.2%, and we had budgeted operating income of $64,690,000, which is a budget operating margin of 6.7%. Starting with statistics for the hospital, the average daily occupancy, and this is for the 11-month period, 586 patients per day compared to a budget of 567. The average acute length of stay was 4.51 days. Last year at this point it was 4.31 days. And so far we've had 38,335 admissions compared to a budget of 39,594. Continuing with statistics, surgery cases through 11 months, 21,252 compared to a budget of 23,753. And so far births, we've had 3,512 compared to a budget of 3,556. For outpatient registrations, we've had 385,396 compared to a budget of 439,114. And in emergency care center registrations between the two ECCs, we've had 99,593 compared to a budget of 111,350. And so far through 11 months, our case mix index is 1.84 for all patients and 1.97 for Medicare patients. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Bill. We'll return to committee reports. The Investment Committee, Graham Hudson, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Investment Committee met this morning. The minutes of the February 18th, 2020 Investment Committee were approved. Colin Robertson of the Northern Trust Bank gave a presentation on fixed income update and portfolio review, which included a review of economic activity and interest rates. Colin presented information on the board designated fund investment results as of August the 31st. The enhanced cash fund had a return of 1.17% through the first 8 months of 2020. The intermediate fund had a return of 6.08% through the first 8 months of 2020. Both portfolios are invested in high quality securities. No motion necessary. That was for information only. Secondly, Bill Wolgen, the CFO, proposed a modification to the intermediate term investment policy to permit purchases of tax-exempt government debt obligations. This change will permit the purchase of tax-exempt government bonds rather than limiting purchases to only taxable bonds. In certain rare market conditions, some tax-exempt government bonds were a better value than taxable bonds. I hereby move approval of the modification to the intermediate term investment policy to permit purchases of tax-exempt debt obligations as recommended by the Investment Committee. As a motion.
Have a second, please. All those in favor respond by saying yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Carries.
Continuing with the Investment Committee, number 3, Tim Sant of Pavilion presented a report on the equity market environment and the performance of various market indexes. The retirement plan portfolio assets gained 12.5% during the second quarter of 2020, but due to losses related to COVID in the first quarter, the calendar year-to-date performance is a loss of 4.05%, which is a negative 15 basis points lower than the policy index. Tim reported that as of August 31st, the retirement plan fund had a market value of $400 million. Tim discussed his observations on the current asset allocation for the retirement plan and said he will analyze the asset allocation in depth at the next meeting. No motion is necessary, and this was for information only. This concludes my report. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Would you like?
We now turn to the audit committee. Back up, Graham.
This was a very busy morning. The audit committee met this morning, which was held on September the 21st, 2020. The minutes of the July 2020 audit committee meeting were approved. Bill Wolgen, the CFO, reviewed a request to increase the district's FY 2020 capital budget for equipment purchase to fight COVID-19. I hereby move approval of the increase to the FY 2020 capital budget by $216,363 for equipment purchase to fight COVID-19 as recommended by the audit committee. Motion.
Second.
All those in favor respond by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed? The motion carries. Continue, please.
Thank you. Number 3, Mark Thornton, Director of Audit Services, reviewed the Audit Services Annual Audit Plan for 2020-2021. I hereby move approval of the 2021 audit plan as recommended by the Audit Committee. Motion.
Second. All those in favor, please respond by saying yes.
Yes.
Any opposed?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Continuing with my report, as I said, this was a busy meeting. John Critelli and Tyler Seawall from Protiviti, which is a auditing firm that we hire, provided an update on the following 2019-2020 co-sourced internal audit projects. We reviewed the construction projects of SMH Venice Hospital and the Comprehensive Oncology Inpatient Center Phase 2. Mark Thornton then followed as Director of Audit Services and provided an update on the following 2019-2020 internal audit projects. And I'll just list these briefly. Construction projects, less than $25 million. The FEMA applications related to Hurricane Irma. Identity and access management controls. Quarterly identity management control program. Active Directory confirmation audit. HIPAA security and privacy PCI risk analysis. The Sarasota Memorial Healthcare System Drug Diversion Prevention Program. Time to Code Pink auditing and monitoring program. Overrides in the electronic health record, and fair warning implementation team. There's no motion required for his report. The next item was an update on Doctor's Gardens was provided. Doctor's Gardens matter refers to the exposure on June 15 that the management of the hospital district caused Doctor's Garden Association to donate under the guise of a charitable contribution $50,000 to a newly created PAC, and the subsequent revelation that Doctor's Garden intended to donate the balance of funds in its account upon dissolution to the same PAC, which at the time totaled over $292,000. 4 documents were presented for the record. The executive summary prepared by the audit chair, management's response to that, a letter dated July the 27th from the chair of the audit committee to the CEO regarding the hiring of an attorney to investigate the matter, and the engagement letter of the law firm that management has hired to opine on certain matters. The CEO reported that an attorney has been engaged, but that the attorney will not be reviewing the Doctor's Garden matter, but opining on what political activities, both permissible and impermissible, the hospital board can engage in going forward. No motion is necessary. That was for information only. This concludes my report. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Tran. We now turn for our President's report from David Barringer, our President and CEO. David?
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I am going to start with our, who's driving that?
I am.
Okay. I'm going to start with the organizational report card as we do every month. And we'll start by looking at our 5 areas of focus, the first being service. We have a goal of having 8 out of 10 of our patient, our likelihood of recommending the number of services greater than the 75th percentile. I am happy to report we are maintaining at this point 8 out of 10. In the people sector, we have a goal of having our turnover of our full-time and part-time staff that have been hired within the past 12 months to be 23% or lower. We're a little bit higher than that at 24.15%. In quality, we have a goal of our infection prevention or combined overall standardized infection rate being less than 0.9. Happy to report we are exceeding that at 0.76. Just to remind the public and the board, 1.0 is the expected or the normal, and we already set our goals a bunch lower than that. So our teams are doing very incredible work. In finance, as you heard from Bill Wojcik earlier, we have our organizational finance, our operating margin is our goal, a 6.5%. We are projecting to exceed that and be at 9.4% for the year. And then finally, in growth, we have inpatient admissions and observation outpatients at 50,000 goal. We are projecting to come in shorter than that at 47,730. And our outpatient registrations has a goal being 930,000. We're coming in lower than that as well at 858,000. When we dig in a little bit more on the patient experience report card, our likelihood of recommending, I'll walk you through this chart. On the left-hand side, you see the areas that we look at from inpatient all the way down to the urgent cares. The next column over is our fiscal year-to-date score of what we're coming in with. The next column is the national median score, and then finally the 75th percentile score, which is our goal. If you look at median score, we're exceeding that in all categories. If you look at the 75th percentile goal, we are missing it on both emergency care facilities, the one on the main campus and the one in Northport. However, we're just missing them by 1 point each. So I think it's, with everything going on with COVID, the team's done a remarkable job. Sarasota Memorial served up a Heroes Appreciation Lunch. Staff and volunteers were treated to lunch on September 2nd with PPE and other COVID precautions in place. It's a thank you to recognize everyone's dedication during the pandemic. We want to especially thank Boar's Head for helping donate the meats and cheeses and really making this all come together. Also want to reach out and thank Lori Lang for really putting it all together and making the magic happen. So thank you, Lori. SMH participates in COVID-19 prevention trial. SMH is now enrolling healthy adults in a clinical trial to evaluate whether an antibody cocktail prevent coronavirus infection. We are one of about 100 locations across the nation participating in the study by Regeneron Pharmaceuticals. The prevention trial is similar to, but separate from the SMH studies underway assessing the ability of the antibody cocktail to treat patients with COVID-19. To qualify for the prevention study, participants must have no symptoms of illness and must have been in close contact with an infected person. For more information, please visit our website or the number above. Minimally invasive procedures simplifies and reduces risk of dialysis. Vascular surgeons at SMH recently became the first in Southwest Florida to perform a breakthrough procedure designed to improve treatment, outcomes, and quality of life for dialysis patients. The new Eclipsis vascular access system is being used to create larger, more stable blood vessels for patients requiring ongoing dialysis treatment. The new approach, approved by the Food and Drug Administration in 2018, has transformed a complex surgery into a minimally invasive procedure. Our cardiac unit receives award for excellence. SMH's Cardiovascular Thoracic Step-Down Cardiac Progressive Unit 3 was recently honored for its high-quality care, earning a silver level Beacon Award for Excellence from the American Association of Critical Care Nurses. The National Honors singles out units that successfully improve patient outcomes and align practices with AACH's 6 Healthy Work Environmental Standards. Cardiac Progressive 3 is the 3rd SMH nursing unit to earn a Beacon Award. The hospital's critical care unit has earned a silver level Beacon Award, and its cardiac Cardiac Progressive 1 unit received a gold award. So thank you to all of them. SMH nursing program earns reaccreditation. The nurse residency program has been reaccredited with the distinction of American Nurses Credentialing Center. The hospital's program is one of only 7 in Florida to achieve this special national recognition. The ANCC Practice Transition Accreditation validates hospital residency programs that help new graduate nurses successfully transition to their practice as a new RN. Accredited programs demonstrate rigorous evidence-based standards for quality and excellence. SMH was initially accredited for 2017, and a 4-year reaccreditation was recently granted after an extensive evaluation. SMH, our own Chief Nursing Officer from our SMH Venice Campus has the American Academy of Nursing Fellow. The American Academy of Nursing recently selected Sarasota Memorial Hospital Venice Chief Nursing Officer Jean Lucas who's a PhD and a whole lot of other things behind her name, to join the 2020 class of fellows, a group of 200 distinguished nursing leaders from around the nation who have made significant
left the meeting.
contributions to healthcare. The Academy's fellows, chosen through a competitive, rigorous application process, are regarded as nursing's most accomplished leaders in education, management, practice, and research. We all want to just thank Jean for everything she's done for this organization for many, many years, and congratulate her on well-deserved recognition. SMH celebrates our 33rd Daisy Award winner. Congratulations to Emergency Care Center clinical nurse Miranda Goodman, who's an RN and a BSN, who recently earned Sarasota Memorial's 33rd Daisy Award. Miranda's peers recognized her for her excellent patient advocacy, attention to detail, and critical thinking. So congratulations, Miranda. Here's a couple of pictures from the SMH Venice Campus. Is proceeding very well and timely. It is, and it's on target to open in fall 2021, along with being on budget. Next, we have some pictures also of our oncology tower, which is right out front. We have overhead mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. Rough-ins are in process on levels 3, 4, and 5. The building structure has officially been topped out, and the project is on schedule to open in fall 2021. Really incredibly smooth process, especially when you consider we're going through COVID right now, and it's on time and on budget as well. So shout out to our Healthcare Heroes, a local publication of West Coast Women, recently recognized our frontline staff. Below is an excerpt of their cover spotlight. Honoring heroes at SMH, this month's cover was Easy Choice, the folks who save lives and give us and help us get better. They're heroes at Sarasota Memorial Hospital. Heartfelt thanks to all of you who work at SMH, and we love you. Very nice right up there. And that is the end of my report. I am happy to take any questions.
Any questions? Thank you, David. Members of the public wishing to make a comment to the board were provided an email box address that was open from noon yesterday until today. Karen, were there any emails to that box?
No, sir, there were not.
Someone signed up to speak.
No,
Thank
sir,
you.
there is not.
We'll move along. Carol Ann, legal matters?
I have no report.
Okay, having completed our agenda, we stand adjourned. The board will reconvene at 5:01 in this room for our final budget and tax millage hearings. Thank you.